Nebraska, and welcome the entire state of Nebraska on News Channel Nebraska for the opening night show of the Cornhusker State Games. Everyone in attendance, please give yourselves a round of applause. Exciting times in the Cornhusker State. We are nearing the start of the 41st annual Cornhusker State Games, and the show taking place right here in the rail yard in Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm Brandon Axman, your MC and host of News Channel Nebraska. Joining me, Dave Manerick with the Nebraska Sports Council, the president, and we'll start off with you. We're joined by Miss Nebraska USA as well, Lieutenant Governor Joe Kelly and others. But first off, you've been doing this for a while, Dave. How are we feeling? 41 years in, the games are about to begin. What is the participation numbers looking like for this year specifically?
Sitting right now at just over 7,000. Around 7,000 right now. We figure to end up right around where we were last year, which is about 8,100 total participants. So that's a great turnout. 70 plus sports over the next couple weekends, and a whole lot of sports fun for all Nebraskans, all ages, all abilities.
This is year 3 of the opening night show right here in Pinnacle Bank Arena. What can the fans in attendance and the people watching from home expect tonight?
Well, this is the event that puts the spirit in the show and gets everything kicked off. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be talking to some people who've had some experience in sports and in the games and who are really important to our state. And they're going to welcome athletes, wish them well, and of course, it culminates in the grand finale, the lighting of the cauldron, which is always a great moment to get all the athletes across the state fired up.
Nebraska Sports Council, the group and organization that puts this on, always at the forefront of being a leader across the country with the Cornhusker State Games. Something extremely special happening this year, getting some pub from ESPN, making this the story that they want to make about Nebraska. Round of applause. Cornhusker State Games going to be what ESPN showcases for their 50 State in 50 Days tour.
Yeah, that says a lot for everyone here. The multitude of volunteers over 41 years, all of our corporate partners who continue to invest to make this program great and an awesome opportunity for athletes of all ages and abilities, have elevated the brand so that when ESPN comes looking for what's going on in Nebraska on these dates, what do they find? They find the Cornhusker State Games. And believe me, we are going to show out. And there are 50 states, and they're going day by day, and we're going to take the national championship in 50 states, 50 days.
Would expect no less for Nebraska and the Cornhusker State Games. Speaking of which, ESPN made a nice promo video about the 50 states in 50 days. Let's roll that in the truck and take a look at what this promo is going to look like.
If you're a fan, what you'll see may convince you you've gone to sports heaven. It's going to be a big part of our future.
Calling all fans. Sports Center is hitting the road. 50 states, 50 days. And coming to you,
East Coast, West Coast, it don't matter. Down south, up north, it don't matter.
This summer, we're bringing the Sports Center party to the locals. This isn't just a tour, it's a homecoming.
Beyond that blue horizon is a limitless world of sport.
Crossing city limits and county lines, we're rolling deep with the entire SC squad. 50 states, 50 days. This is Sports Center on tour.
It don't matter.
If that doesn't get you excited for the Cornhusker State Games, I don't know what else will. ESPN coming to tell the story of all of the participants playing in all of the sports across the state, competing in the 41st annual Cornhusker State Games. Dave, any final thoughts before we let you go, about what's going on in that ESPN piece specifically that will be airing in a few days. I understand they have a pretty quick turnaround time.
Yeah, Tuesday morning, 6 a.m., set your alarm. For a little before that, get up and watch the first report. They're going to run reports all day Tuesday, the 15th of July. So they are going to do some production pretty quickly after filming all weekend here. But that's the day that we're going to be featured. So be sure and tune in and check it all out. Again, we're going to take the championship in that deal.
Round of applause for Dave Manerick, President of the Nebraska Sports Council. You're here watching the Cornhusker State Games opening night show, and now I have the honor of interviewing Miss Nebraska USA, Audrey Eckert, joining us today. A round of applause for Miss Nebraska USA. All right, Audrey, so as a representative of Nebraska in the platform that you have, why do you believe events like the Cornhusker State Games are important for communities across the Cornhusker State?
The Cornhusker State Games, like you mentioned, are so unique to Nebraska, and we are a state rooted in deep tradition, and this being one of them. I remember growing up and attending the games here in Lincoln, where I'm from, and so just having an avenue for people to come from all over our state and unite with one another is really special and specific to Nebraska.
And as Miss Nebraska USA, you have a pretty wide reach, especially to some of the younger girls and boys out there. What would you share your thoughts to them about specifically staying active and being involved in something like the Cornhusker State Games?
You can choose to be active in a variety of different things. So just challenging yourself, finding something every day that keeps you motivated, keeps you moving, is something that really excites us. With our platform, we do everything we can to get involved with children specifically, and promoting children to get out in their communities, stay involved no matter what avenue they choose to, and sports being one of them. Teaching them to, lose gracefully and all the things that come with being a part of sports and the etiquette around sporting events.
Audrey, thank you so much for the time. Round of applause for Audrey Eckert here at the opening night show of the Cornhusker State Games. Let's now bring Lieutenant Governor Joe Kelly over here for a couple of questions. Joe Kelly, what do the Cornhusker State Games mean to Nebraska as someone who's represented Nebraska for such a long time?
It's another one of these things that unites Nebraskans. This like some things we do down the street in the fall and into the volleyball season. Nebraskans love to get together for sports. They love competition, they love winners, but we all have to learn how to lose. That's correct. But it's a great way to bring us together as a state.
For those athletes there, those thousands of participants that will be laying it all on the line over the next week and a half, what specific words of advice do you have for them?
It's give it all, but have fun. I mean, this is a great event for the city of Lincoln, for the state of Nebraska, for all these participants. And something I think about every year living in Lincoln is when the state games are on, everywhere I drive in town, I see something going on, and the first thought I have every year is, wow, how many volunteers does this thing take to make it happen so well and so seamlessly? So I always think about not only the athletes, but these great volunteers who make this thing happen.
Can you take that a step further? What does that say about the people of the Cornhusker State that they're willing to volunteer their time and their efforts towards something like this?
It's a great event, and so Nebraskans are always there. You need volunteers, they're always there. And everybody finds their niche, how they can help their community and their state, but this is certainly one where you can dig in on sports and really help out.
A round of applause for Lieutenant Governor Joe Kelly for all of the volunteers making the Cornhusker State Games happen. And again, Dave Manerick. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll come back with the national anthem. You are watching the Cornhusker State Games opening night show live on News Channel Nebraska. And welcome back live from Lincoln, Nebraska, the opening night show for the Cornhusker State Games. Applause from everyone in attendance. We are back, we're fired up, and we are ready to go. As the games are just about to begin, it's now that part of the program where we will have our national anthem. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and face the flag for tonight's national anthem, performed by rising star Olivia Vanderford, who will be a junior at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, majoring in agricultural communications. She's also a member of UNL's show choir called the Big Red Singers and has performed the national anthem around the state, including for the Nebraska Capitol Christmas tree lighting and for the state wrestling championships in Omaha. Olivia grew up traveling the state with her family on Pure Nebraska shoots for 10/11 News, and now as Miss Fremont, Olivia continues to spread her love for Nebraska and singing. Take it away, Olivia.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Amazing job by Olivia Vanderford, the national anthem here at the Cornhusker State Games opening night show. Don't go anywhere. Special guests are coming up next. We'll be lighting the cauldron and getting these games started after this 3-minute break. You're watching the Cornhusker State Games opening night show on News Channel Nebraska. Welcome back to the Rail Yards, Lincoln, Nebraska, site of the Cornhusker State Games opening night show. We have some very distinguished and special guests, amazing athletes who have joined us on the stage. We're going to go down each of them one by one. Round of applause for everything they offer and the outstanding athletic accomplishments that they have done here in the state of Nebraska. So first off, our special guest, Major General Craig Strong, Adjunct General of the Nebraska Military Department. Next special guest here at the Cornhusker State Games opening night show, Senator Jason Prokop, representing District 27. Guest number 3, Angie Henry, 1996 Cornhusker State Games torchlighter and an outstanding track athlete from what I understand. Perhaps, or an athlete altogether. Round of applause for Angie Henry. This one I know is a track athlete, bobsled specifically, Kurt Tomasevich, Olympic gold medalist and 2006 Cornhusker State Games torchlighter. Volleyball fans, you know this name, Jordan Larson, Olympic gold medalist and 2007 Cornhusker State Games torchlighter. And last but not least, a familiar face with the Nebraska Sports Council and the Cornhusker State Games, Dr. Joanne Owens-Nosler, joined by Brian Larrington, board member emeritus and co-founders of the Nebraska Sports Council Endowment, which currently has more than 150 donor members and over $200,000 in pledges. Round of applause for the effort put forth, which was your idea, I understand. Now, if you want to know more about that endowment, go to the NSC endowment at nebraskasportscouncil.com to find out how you can give and be a part of that effort. Round of applause for these last 2 special guests here at the Cornhusker State Games opening night show. Do you have any comments you want to add?
Well, we would just remind you that we do this because we love it, just like you do. Money isn't everything, but it ranks right up there with oxygen. So remember, holiday in July, you give with your time, your talent, and your treasures. This is about internships, scholarships, new sports that will come along, and we have to have that endowment so that we're always ready. Thank you.
You know, this is the 41st Cornhusker State Games, and when we put our heads together and said, you know, we would like to have this be around for another 40 years, and to be able to do that, we would hope that people would contribute if they've got an opportunity within their own giving on a regular basis in an estate plan, something along those lines, opportunity to be able to leave a legacy for the Cornhusker State Games and also the state of Nebraska.
Thank you both very much for all your work and dedication to the Cornhusker State Games and the Nebraska Sports Council. All right, moving to the next part of our program. This is the start of what the Cornhusker State Games will be tomorrow when they officially begin, but it's a process getting to this point. Earlier this summer, the Nebraska Sports Council launched the first ever Cornhusker State Games Torch Tour, symbolically uniting our state in celebration of sport, community, and the upcoming games. The tour began in Grand Island, Nebraska, with stops in several host cities across the state, and it concludes here tonight with the official lighting of the cauldron, which will take place later on in the program, signaling the start officially of the 2025 Cornhusker State Games. Here's a look back at the torch's journey across the state that got us to this point.
I'm Brad Mellema, and I'm excited to represent Grand Island at the first Cornhusker State Games Torch Tour. Are you? It's amazing to see how the games bring people together from all walks of life, and I'm excited to support this incredible event that inspires health, fun, and a connection statewide. We are ready in North Platte. Are you?
I'm proud to help showcase the amazing opportunities Nebraska has for athletes of all ages and skill levels.
Columbus is ready. Are you? I'm excited to represent swimming for the first ever Cornhusker State Games Torch Tour.
I'm proud to help showcase this amazing opportunity Nebraska has for all athletes and their skill capabilities. I highly encourage everyone to get out there and try something new. Fremont's ready.
The question now is, are you ready? North Platte, Columbus, Fremont, the torch is now here in Lincoln. We have our drones following the National Guard coming over the bridge currently, and Dave, in moments they will be right in front of us to light the cauldron.
Yeah, this is the ultimate moment in the opening night, and we've had so many great athletes over the years who've represented all of the athletes of Nebraska as the torch lighter. It's a great tradition. It's part of the Cornhusker State Games, modeled after the Olympics, really. And 3 of the athletes you just introduced were awesome athletes, and tonight, obviously, it's going to follow suit with that.
Currently being carried by the Nebraska Air National Guard. There's some Husker volleyball players that are going to get the torch handed off to, the first of which is Becca Alec, I believe, who was here a year ago lighting the cauldron.
Yeah, that's going to give this some symmetry. So she was one of the honorary lighters last year. She's going to be able to pass that torch to this year's honorary torch lighter. So we have good symmetry with the athletes that are bringing the torch down.
Just talking about the athletes associated, Alec, a senior representing the Husker volleyball program, had 1.82 kills, a career best last season, and is looking to build on that. She's currently number 6 in school history and career blocks with 415. Joining Alec, another Nebraska native, Olivia Mock, who will be an incoming sophomore in Bennington representative team.
Yeah, we have, obviously, the University of Nebraska's volleyball team is super prominent in this state and loved by everyone, so these athletes, once again, great representatives.
And here they come, bringing it home. Also, Bergen Riley. Let's get loud for the Husker volleyball players, the Air National Guard, the ceremonial lighting.
Super prominent in this state and loved by everyone, so these athletes, once again, great representatives.
And here they come, bringing it home. Also, Bergen Riley. Let's get loud for the Husker volleyball players, the Air National Guard, the ceremonial huge round of applause for new Husker volleyball coach, Dani Busboom-Kelly, who will be lighting the cauldron. We've got the torch up there. It should be lighting, and there it goes. The cauldron is lit. May the start of the 41st Cornhusker State Games officially begin. Don't go anywhere. We'll hear from Busboom-Kelly and resume the show. Here live from Lincoln, you're watching the Cornhusker State Games opening night show here on News Channel Nebraska. And welcome back to Lincoln, Nebraska. We are in the rail yard. The cauldron has been lit for the 41st Annual Cornhusker State Games. Joining us, Rebecca Alec, Olivia Mock, Bergen Riley, and Dani Busboom-Kelly. A round of applause for our Husker volleyball stars and new coach. In a volleyball-crazed state like this, Coach Kelly, Busboom-Kelly doesn't necessarily need an introduction, but in case someone watching or here was living under a rock, born in Cortland, Nebraska, graduated from Freeman High School, 4-year starter at Nebraska, 3 Big 12 titles, 2 NCAA final appearances, and a national title in 2006. Assistant coach for the Huskers back in 2015, where you most recently coached at Louisville. 203 and 44 the record. That is an 822 win percentage for Coach, who's now bringing her talents to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln to represent the Huskers. Coach, bringing it back locally. You competed in the Cornhusker State Games. What does it mean now to be back here as the torchlighter, an honor that you saw so many great athletes do before you as well?
Yeah, it's a really fun honor, and the State Games was always a fun event growing up. I've been talking to him, like, I don't exactly remember which sports I did. I think I did a little bit of track, some softball, some volleyball, some 3-on-3 basketball, so I've done it all in the State Games. So it's, again, really fun to be back in a state that just embraces competition and athletics so much.
Well, and to that point, the Cornhusker State Games highlight the spirit and community here in Nebraska. What makes this community so special to you, and bigger picture, what made you come back to Nebraska for this opportunity?
Again, the way this community supports athletics in general, and what's cool about being here is our lives is about volleyball constantly, and to be here around athletes of all ages and all sports, it's just a great representation of Nebraska, the community of Lincoln, and our love for competing and just supporting each other. And a big reason to come back here is just the family atmosphere, and it feels like the State Games really embodies that.
Yeah, that's worth a round of applause. Certainly, give a round of applause for yourselves and the great spirit you bring. 3 great athletes here that will be playing at the Devaney this season. I know there's always high expectations. When at practice and when you're coaching these girls, what's the message to them? I know that's a very basic question on a more complicated topic, but how do you coach them, and what's your plan and the message that you want to give them that you might also be able to translate to those preparing to participate in the Cornhusker State Games?
Well, how much time do we have to answer this question?
You got the floor.
No, we really want to embrace that this is a game. Sports are fun. They bring out the best in people, and we want to always remember that. But of course, competing and winning is really important here. And so if we can combine those two things at the highest level, we'll have a great outcome. But this team loves each other. I know they're really excited to compete, and I think we're going to be able to put on more than a few shows for Husker fans this year.
I think that's definitely worth a round of applause. Any final thoughts as the season's around the corner? And I'm sure you're excited to get things going in your first year with Nebraska.
Yeah, just really looking forward to some new things with the alumni match and playing games in Pinnacle Bank Arena. I think we've got a really fun start to the season with those 2 events that have never been done before.
Round of applause for head coach Dani Busboom-Kelly, Rebecca Alec, Olivia Mock, and Bergen Riley, your Husker volleyball players. Ceremonial torchlighter, that officially concludes our program here today. Cauldron is lit. Cornhusker State Games have now begun, and if you want to still get involved, registration open for many events. Go to cornhuskerstategames.com and make sure to get out there and compete. Thank you all for showing up for the show. Thank you for watching across the state. that will wrap things up. Get out there and compete. 41st Annual Cornhusker State Games is now officially underway.